how to create a custom workspace in Photoshop. These particular workspaces are actually meant for all of us. Let me just say, virtually everyone who are using Photoshop should have their own custom workspace. And this workspace actually contains the most used tools you do make use of in Photoshop. You know, Photoshop is kind of wide, and it's a kind of software that is being used for different creativities. So depending on the aspect of creativity you choose to use Photoshop for, so I'm very sure you're gonna have some tools you do use almost all the time, and it's gonna be very handy for you to have those tools in one pack, in one place, so that it's gonna be easier for you to navigate straight to those places where you kept them customly, you know, and you just go there, pick it up, and it's gonna make your work so faster. So today we're gonna go ahead and see how we're gonna arrange our workspace and also save it, so that next time we open Photoshop, we're still gonna have that workspace there. So right now I'm gonna head on to my computer and we're gonna see how we go about that. So here I am. Here is my Photoshop open. I'm gonna create a new file. And just create a new file. So we're gonna use that to take ourselves to walk us through this process. So I don't worry about this. Just head on to create anything. All right, here is my Photoshop. So let me just first of all go to Windows, Workspace. Let me reset this particular Essential because I've been using Photoshop already before I record this video. This is not the default appearance, you know, when you just open up Photoshop for the first time. So either way, maybe you've used your Photoshop also and you would like to create a custom workspace, you just have to come ahead to Windows, Workspace, and reset whatever or whichever workspace you're using. Just reset Essential. When you click on this reset, so it's gonna get back to the default Essential workspace appearance. In just a minute, let me change my color to black because I didn't really like it to be kind of grayish like so. Just gonna come to interface. Sorry, this is not part of it anyway, just my personal thing. Alright, here we are. So right now, as you can see, I have a lot of stuffs here around here, most especially, and I didn't really, most of things that are here are not what I do use on the day-to-day activities, so whenever I'm designing actually. So right now I'm just gonna remove some of these options and input what I do use most time. And again, this workspace is just let me say you've been maybe you are a teacher or you are a mechanical engineer or you're just someone or a plumber. You know, there are essential tools you do use for your work, and obviously if you kind of pick up a tool pack of an engineer, of a mechanical engineer person, and also a tool pack for a plumber, when you check the content there, obviously you're going to see different tools. You will never see the same tools there, and they are working on the same field. So looking at it, it's just exactly how this workspace we're going to be. So we're going to remove all the tools we're not using here, and we're going to put those tools we do use. So right now I'm going to get back to my Photoshop. So here, which is the color, I don't need it because most of my designs are more or less like graphics, not really painting, like banner, flyers, sometimes logos, and stuff like that. So I'm not really into painting. If I'm into painting, probably I'm gonna need this color dialog, that color option. So for that reason, I'm gonna remove it. So how do I remove it? I'm just gonna mouse over my mouse to this particular name as it is. Click it down and drag outside. click and drag outside. So I just did that. So I'm gonna come here and close it here. Click that and it's closed. This pattern also, I don't need it. I'm gonna click it also, drag it out, and I'll close it here as well. This gradient, I don't need this right now as it is. Even if I'm gonna need this later on, I'm gonna see if I'm gonna see more space to put it. So I'm gonna click it also, drag it out, close it. These swatches, though, I will need these swatches to be active. For this tutorial, I'm gonna have to remove it first, and later on, as we continue, I can get it, put it back to where it's supposed to be. So I'm gonna close this also. So all these ones, learn, I don't need it obviously. I'm gonna close it. Adjustments, I don't need it obviously. I'm gonna close it as well. Libraries, no, I don't need it. I need this also. I'm gonna close it. Close this. I'm gonna leave these guys because most time I do use them. So I'm gonna leave this, and I'm gonna come to Windows. These are all the tools you can pick out and dock somewhere anywhere you want it actually. So one thing, looking at all these tools here, firstly I do make use of my brushes, but I won't pick it up to put it there because I can easily navigate whenever I want to use my brush. We're still gonna talk about that, don't worry. So my character, those are my tests. I'll need that. I really need that. So I'm gonna put this guy, click it and drag it out. Click it and drag it out. Don't mind my system loading. Actually, it's loading all the fonts in my system, so it's gonna take a little seconds. So that has been done. Drag it out. I didn't need this paragraph. I'm gonna close this. Now I'm gonna come back to Windows again to pick another tool. Let me see. Don't worry, history is already there. Come in here. I'm gonna need this property bar. And it's right here. I'm gonna drag it out, and before I'm reaching, actually, I will need my style. I'm gonna drag it out as well. Come to Windows again. My swatches, firstly, I'm gonna need it. So I'm having my tools there already. I don't need my timeline. I'm not into animation, 2 presets now. Let me just say it, but I don't need it actually. Let me just drag it out and close that. I don't need this. So let me check again. My brushes, no. Alright, so let me see. Okay, other things I do use are actually on the standard bar, which is always there by default. So right now, these are my main tools. I use my text, my style, my property for anything I use, and all these guys are here handy. So obviously, I should say all my stuffs are here already, so I don't need to be putting something else I don't actually need, so that it won't just be consuming my RAM and stuff like that. So right now it's time to arrange. And for me, I would really like this my layer panel to have enough space, like all these spaces. I really need to have it so that I'll be able to, in case I have a lot of stuff going on here on my workspace, actually on my on this platform right here. So I will have all those layers here in the layer panel. So I would like to see everything, not that I'll be scrolling. So this is what I do mostly. This is my property. I'll click this property, click and drag. That's how you arrange. I'll put it at the top here. This is the history button. So whenever I click on the property, it will be easy for me to to click and change anything depending on the tool or action I want to make. So that's my property over there. So the next one is my character. Click it, drag it. I'm going to drag it at the top here. You can see that blue line. That means it's going to be at the top of all those panels. If I move it down, it's gonna stock it inside these tabs. So but I want it at the top. I'm gonna leave it like so. So that's my character panel. So I'm gonna come to my style. This is my style. I'm gonna click the same thing. I'm gonna put it here to join my character panel in that tab. So also the same thing with my swatches. Pick it up and make it there. So right now I'm having my character, my style, my swatches there. and my property bar is here already. But if I kind of want to bring this guy out and put it here somewhere also, so but it's gonna be handy for me to put it somewhere here, so that if I make any adjustment or anything, so most of my open window is gonna be the property bar and this guy. So, and most time why I do put this property bar outside here is just because whenever I make any changes, like let me just pick something and draw something, let me pick that and draw that anyhow, and I'm gonna head back to my move tool. You can see I have a lot of options, so I'll have to scroll down to see the other options like that, which is kind of cool actually. It's really cool like so, but most times I just want everything to be, you know, wide, and I should see more picture of what I can do with that particular thing I'm doing. So most time I do put it outside here, stack it here. So whenever I click, I have a lot of options here. And when I'm done, I'm gonna just hide it back to where it belongs. So anyway, either way, let me just put it here. So when I do anything, you can see I have enough space. I can even drag it down also to see what I can do with this particular guy here. So right now, when I'm done with that, I'm just gonna back it back there. That's it. So, and most times, as I said, I will always like to move my guy up here. So you can always click and drag. And let me just pick on my selection of my character tab and come here somewhere. I just want to drag this up a little. So let me just like this. Let me delete this layer. So come in. I think that was something is wrong here. Sorry, let me see. Alright, so I can reduce, but I want to actually drag it out, so it's not allowing me to go more further than that. But anyhow, it's really cool like so. And you can see this particular arrow. I can collapse the panel like so and have more space for me to work with. And also I can always go here. You can see it only pop that up. I can choose my style, it only pop that up, and remember they are all on the same tab. I can always navigate around those tabs like so. So it's actually a great thing. And my layer panel like so, and if I'm not really satisfied with that, I can always come click it down and drag it down like that, and I will see a lot of space to work. Actually, this is much more simple for me and easier for me to navigate, because most of the time I only make use of my text, my shapes here, which is here, and my standard bar here, which contains most of options, possible things I can do with anything I actually create or select, or any layer I create at all here in Photoshop. So these are just my essential tools. If you have any other tools you do use, maybe you are made with Photoshop or anything at all, just bring it out from the Windows, find it, and as we dock all these guys here, do the same thing, so that your Photoshop won't have a lot of things going on, like things you don't need, things you don't use. So it won't be consuming. Even part of all those stuff actually consumes RAM, but not everyone actually take note of that. Same way you have a browser open and you have multiple tabs there. I mean a browser, internet browser. When you have a multiple tabs open in a particular internet browser, the more tabs you have, the more RAM it consumes, because all those tabs you open are actually working on your computer system. So they took some parts of your RAM for them to run smoothly. So, but if you minimize the tabs you open which you don't use, it will reduce the RAM it consumes. That is the same way most software works. So this particular Photoshop also, if you have a lot of panels open, things you don't use, why are you opening them? Because they're also consuming your RAM, one way or the other. So just make everything simpler for you. And as you can see here on my workspace, the one I just created, it's more or less like, am I not doing anything here at all? Whereas I'm doing something, because my tools are here. So just make sure your own tools are here too, and we'll be good at the end of the day. So how do I save my workspace? Because if I mistakenly close this Photoshop right now, I may not be able to get to this particular workspace again. So what should I do? Let me just save it up. And how do I do that? I'll just have to come back to my Windows, my workspace, and I'll say new workspace. When you click on new workspace, this dialog box will come up for you to name your workspace. So what you're going to do, I'm just going to name it David, like so. So I'm going to make sure that my keyboard shortcut, my menu, and my toolbar are all intact. So I'm going to check it all, and I'll click on save. So let's check, maybe it's saved. Obviously it's saved. So workspace, you can see on David. So in case like maybe I made some error, or I just mistakenly moved maybe I disarranged my newly created workspace, maybe later on in future. For example, let me open this guy up. Maybe I move this guy, put this guy here, put this guy here, coming back here. I did a lot of silly stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I messed everything up. Yeah, I messed it up. But how do I get back to my previous workspace where I stayed? It's very simple. Same way we did at first. So you come to Windows, Workspace, and you reset it. Reset the workspace. And when I do that, it gets me back to where I was before. Simple as that. So that will be it actually, and I believe you have actually gotten a particular point to like make sure you have all those things you are using in one place as a designer. So if you really like this video, if you found value watching this video, please give it a thumb, and also you can subscribe for you to receive more of the updates, because we're actually getting started. We haven't actually getting to anywhere. This is just introduction and setting up the tools we'll be using, because very soon we'll be learning how to create a lot of graphics as a beginner, because we actually want to get this particular software, which is Photoshop, down to our own understanding. We don't want to mix up big grammars, big do this, do that. We're like, oh, this is too much. No. Actually, nothing's too much. It's just because of the way you actually assimilate the knowledge. But if you kind of grab the knowledge in the basic form, you're gonna get everything so simple. And the more basic you know, the more creativity you'll be thinking to get on board. So this is it, and in the next video, I'm very sure we're gonna get something done. So thanks for watching, and thank you for your like, thank you for subscribing. I'll see you again in the future.